Any comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our called meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, by raise hand. It is unanimous. We are adjourned. It is now 5:31, so we're going to call our regular board meeting into session for May 9th, 2024. And it's good to have a house full of people in this place today. We want to welcome you as well as those online. And Madam Superintendent, the floor is you.
Well, thank you, sir. The first item on the agenda is the invocation, and I'd like to invite Reverend Eric Davenport from Northside Baptist Church Board to do the invocation, please. You all would please stand.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear great and gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Lord, thanking you for the many blessings you've given each and every one of us. Lord, we thank you for this time that we have together. Lord, we just pray for this school system. Lord, we thank you for each one that is here, the leaders, each student, each teacher, each parent. God, we just pray, Lord, that you continue to be with them. Lord, we thank you for all that is being done here in our system. We thank you for all that will continue to be done. Lord, we just know that you are the one that is leading us, guiding and directing us in our life. You said if you lack wisdom, that we ask for wisdom, and Lord, you give it to us. Lord, we know that each of us here today need wisdom from your Holy Spirit. And God, I pray for guidance for each one that takes part in this meeting, for all the words, all the things that are said. God, we just know that you are in control. We want to leave all things in your hands. Lord, we just thank you for your salvation. Thank you for your love that you've shown to each and every one of us. Lord, that you cared enough to send your only begotten Son to this earth that he might die for us, to pay for our sins. Lord, to provide a way that we could be in heaven with you someday. And Lord, we just thank you for all the many blessings that you've given us. And we just pray now your blessings upon this meeting. And God, that you continue to lead, guide, and direct. In Jesus Christ's most precious and holy name we do pray. Amen.
Thank you. And I invite the high school principal, Dr. Scott Ramsey, forward to do the pledge of allegiance.
Salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and proceed. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda. And Ms. Collins, if you would pull up those minutes. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
The board has a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion, sir.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raise hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is very exciting. If you look around the room, you'll know how exciting it is. First recognition we'd like to do, again, I'd like to invite Dr. Scott Ramsey forward. We want to recognize the valedictorian and salutatorian for the class of 2024. Dr. Ramsey.
Thank you and good evening, Madam Superintendent and Board. It is certainly my pleasure to be here to recognize some very special young people. And we will start that off by recognizing our salutatorian and valedictorian for the 2024 school year. Our salutatorian is Ms. Sydney Chancey. I'll invite her up. Peyton Nelson. I'll invite her up. And since they're going to have to give us speech in front of about 5,000 people. We're gonna have a little practice right now and let them tell you what they're gonna do post-graduation.
I'm Cindy Chansey. I plan on going to Dahlonega University of North Georgia to pursue education. So early childhood, I want to do the elementary classes, and I will also be receiving my certification in special education. So I would rather do special education, but we'll see.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peyton Nelson. After graduation, I'm going to attend Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. I'm going to major in government, probably double major in English. After that, I'm going to work probably for an NGO or a nonprofit and do my best to help further human rights across the globe. So that's the goal.
So Cindy is gonna shape young minds, and Peyton's gonna be the president someday. So, y'all get ready to vote for her, and then the elementary principal get ready to hire Cindy, and she's ready to come home. Let's give these ladies one more round. Hey, don't go yet, because you gotta have your picture made.
That is a culmination of a lot of years of hard work. Very proud of the ladies. Next, special recognition, I'd like to invite Miss Martha Williams, Director of Nutrition Board, to talk to us about the School System Teacher of the Year for 2026. Ms. Williams, explain that one.
No, not again. Good evening, Board and Madam Superintendent. It's a pleasure to be with you all this evening. And what a great thing for us to talk about are our teachers. So tonight, we have the opportunity to recognize and actually formally meet all the Teachers of the Year candidates for Fannin County Schools. And the next Tuesday evening at the Ag Center at 6 o'clock, we will have the revealing of Fannin County School System's Teacher of the Year for 2026. I'm not crazy, y'all. It really is for 2026. They're the Teacher of the Year for their school next year, but they're eligible to be back for the state for 2026. So our first Teacher of the Year comes from Blue Ridge Elementary. Where are you, Ms. Caprice Ramsey? She's a first-grade teacher at Blue Ridge Elementary in Blue Ridge, Georgia. She graduated from Mercer University with her Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education and her Master's and Specialist degrees in Early Childhood Education from the University of West Georgia. She also has an ESOL, or English to Speakers of Other Languages, endorsement. Mrs. Ramsey began her career teaching in Clayton County at G.W. Northcutt in kindergarten. For the next 9 years, she taught kindergarten in Henry County at Pates Creek Elementary. This is Mrs. Ramsey's 12th year teaching first grade at Blue Ridge Elementary. She is proud of her work as a mentor teacher at Blue Ridge Elementary. She enjoys guiding new teachers day to day along their teaching journey. She understands that building relationships, modeling a passion for the teaching profession, and providing support are key to teacher success and retention. One of Mrs. Ramsey's greatest joys is having the opportunity to teach inclusion classes. Over the years, she has been able to work with exceptional students and has been part of an innovative team teaching classroom. The academic rigor and peer relationships built with her nonverbal, deaf, and ESOL students are her most proud achievements. Mrs. Ramsey believes that every day, every student deserves to be seen, included, accepted, and loved. She understands that when students' needs are met, the resources and methods used to teach are only tools, not the key. She believes educators harness the key to unlock the beauty in learning. Ms. Chris Ramsey. Next, we have Ms. Kayla Majors from East Fannin Elementary. Kayla Majors is a 4th grade special education teacher at East Fannin Elementary School in Morganton. She began teaching in 2007 and has taught both general education and special education at the elementary level. Mrs. Majors earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Early Childhood and Special Education from North Georgia College and State University in 2007. She went on to earn her Master of Arts degree in Early Childhood Education from Piedmont College in 2009 and her Education Specialist degree in Curriculum and Instruction from Lincoln Memorial University in 2010. Mrs. Majors later completed the Tier 1 Educational Leadership Certification Program for School Leadership and Administration at the University of North Georgia in 2023. She has also earned endorsements in reading, ESOL, and gifted education. In 2022, Mrs. Majors was chosen as an aspiring leader by the Fannin County School System. She serves as the Special Education Team Lead for East Fannin Elementary. Additionally, she is a mentor for new teachers and for teacher candidates enrolled in local college teacher preparation programs. Mrs. Major's teaching philosophy centers on the importance of fostering relationships and building trust and rapport with students. By prioritizing open communication and showing genuine interest in their lives, she aims to cultivate a meaningful connection with each one of her students. Mrs. Majors is committed to ensuring her classroom is an inclusive space where every student feels valued. This is Kayla Majors. Everyone's going to have to look at the picture of Miss Christy Brogdon tonight. She is out of town and sorry not to get to meet you all and see you all. Christy Brogdon is at West Fannin Elementary. She is a kindergarten interrelated resource teacher and is entering her 16th year of teaching. She began her career as a 3rd grade teacher at Dodson Elementary School in Nashville, Tennessee. She has taught kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and has been a special education teacher in kindergarten and 4th grades. Mrs. Brogdon loves teaching all children, but particularly enjoys working with children who do not always fit the normal learning curve. She holds a degree in elementary education from Belmont University. Mrs. Brogdon's pedagogical priorities follow the 5 C's of education. She believes that children learn best when the classroom has a consistent expectation, collaborative learning, opportunities, usually in the form of project-based learning activities, caring teachers, creative opportunities, and challenges students to take ownership of their learning. Mrs. Brogdon strives for a classroom environment that allows children to explore and solve problems. Ms. Christy Brogdon. Our next Teacher of the Year is Ms. Jill Abercrombie from Fannin County Middle School. Jill Abercrombie is a middle school teacher who strongly believes that all students have the ability to reach their full potential. With personalized learning that builds self-confidence, those talents can be utilized to accomplish future endeavors. Abercrombie is convinced that the ultimate reward in teaching is helping students find their strengths. Her students engage in lessons that encourage motivation and academic growth. Abercrombie is completing her 26th year as an educator and began her career as a special education teacher at Pickens High School. She led many students through career experiences and was the varsity cheerleader coach for 6 years. Abercrombie became a member of Who's Who among Georgia educators in 2001. She served as a special education lead teacher at Tate Elementary School for 5 years and was a member of the curriculum committee and the school advisory council. Her love for teaching students with special needs later led her to teach in the Fannin County North Star program. Hoping to help more students on campus, Abercrombie was welcomed into a classroom inside Fannin County Middle School. She is currently a member of the Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports Committee and the cheerleading coach. Abercrombie earned a Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education from Kennesaw State University, a Master's in Interrelated Special Education from the University of North Georgia, and a Specialist in Curriculum and Instruction from Lincoln Memorial University. Ms. Jill Abercrombie. And last but certainly not least, from Fannin County High School, Ms. Christy Rose. Christy Rose has 24 years of experience teaching and is currently teaching math special education at Fannin County High School in Blue Ridge, Georgia. She teaches math and English to juniors and seniors. Rose earned her Bachelor of Science from University of North Georgia and Associates of Science from Young Harris College. She began her career at Gilmer High School, teaching courses from pre-algebra to calculus. She has served in several capacities: department chair, math and curriculum coordinator, teacher mentor, gifted teacher, math competition sponsor, summer testing coordinator, and night school tutor. As a product of the Fannin County school system, Rose wanted to contribute to the children at her alma mater. She has taught math to students of varying abilities from elementary to college level through classes, after-school tutoring, a summer school, homebound, college entry exams, and advisement. She added special education to her certification when a need materialized at the school. She has been part of many programs and events at Fannin High. Rose uses her ability to promote student success. Ms. Rose has been awarded Teacher of the Month, won Teacher of the Year for Fannin High, and has represented both school systems at the State Review Board for math tests. Her greatest career pride has been watching her students grow and learn in a short time frame. They have inspired her to become a better teacher. Rose's goal has been to boost student confidence, using learned lessons to show that there may be struggles in life, but with analysis, teamwork, and problem solving, a solution can be found. Ms. Christy Rose. These are your candidates. Congratulations.
Mr. Chair, next special recognition, I'd like to invite Dr. Lisa Hodges, the principal of the Fannin County Middle School Board, to brag on her middle school baseball team. Dr. Hodges.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to ask our baseball team and their coaches to join me up front. This is our middle school boys baseball team, and I'm going to turn this over in just a moment to Coach O'Neill to give you some more details and specifics. But I want to brag on them, how they represented our school and the work that they put in. It takes a lot of work to do what they've done in a short period of time in very cold and rainy days. So I'm proud of them. I'm proud that they represented our school so well, and I'm going to turn this over to Coach O'Neill to give you some details.
I'd just like to take a second and thank some people. One, I'd like to thank our school system and our league for giving us the opportunity to play. Our transportation and bus drivers who got us to and from games, especially in the busy sports season. Our parents, all the parents who are here, I want to thank y'all for allowing us to coach your kids and for all your help organizing team meals and how much help that was. Most of all, I want to thank this amazing group of young men for their commitment and hard work. This year's team finished with a league record of 10-4, in which they won their last 6 games consecutively to claim the Mountain League Championship, defeating Lumpkin County 21-11. In 14 games, these young men scored over 160 runs, winning over half their games with a mercy rule. The young men who made up this team, Mason Bailey, Braxton Ballou, Gavin Bradford, Brody Burnett, Carson Callahan, Bentley Cole, Wayland Davenport, Drew Dyer, Liam Holly, Cannon Holloway, Reed Holloway, Reese Hughes, Branson Lance, Cooper Mathis, Alex McClure, Owen Norton, and Caden Reese are some of the most wonderful young men to coach could ever be blessed with the opportunity of coaching. In their biggest moments, they were fearless. In their hardest moments, they were accountable. But in their best moments, they were great teammates. All credit and praise for this year's season belongs to them for the way they represented themselves, their parents, their school system, and their county. They are truly some of Fannin's finest. Give these guys a round of applause.
Almost perfect. Gotta be cool.
The culmination of all your hard work, guys, is impressive. And coaches, thank you for all the time and dedication that you give your students. That's outside of the schedule sequence of instruction. Mr. Chair, next special recognition is the Fannin County Middle and High School Fine Arts and Liberal Arts Award recipients. And I'd like to invite Dr. April Hodges and Dr. Scott Ramsey forward, please.
Hello again. I would like to invite Jay Skillis and Laurel Minear up to the front and Band Director Carly Batch. We'll get to hear a little more about these guys in my presentation a little bit later on, but I want to brag on them. Miss Patch is our new band director. She is amazing if you haven't met her. And Laurel and Jace have had the opportunity to not only go and represent our district, but they had to earn the right to get there. And so they had to perform auditions, they had to sight read some music in front of judges, and they were selected to be part, and I'm gonna see if I can get this right, GMEA District 9 North District Honor Band Participants. Is that right? Yes. Good. So they did a great job. Super proud of them and the hard work that they put in to represent our school and our fine arts program so well.
Okay, I will be playing the part of Dr. Scott Barnstead tonight because he is at his daughter's graduation and he has given me a script to follow. So I will ask our band folks to come up, please. these young men and women before you are obviously very talented, and that's why they're standing here before you tonight. Those are my words, not Dr. Barnes. I'm going to get to his in just a second. I'm always very impressed with musical talent because I have zero. I could play ball, but I couldn't play an instrument to save my life. Once you get past playing the radio, you're out of my league. So I'm always very impressed with these students who can do these type things. So the young men and women before you tonight are all district honor band recipients. Is that the right word? Okay. Out of 864 students from Pickens, Gilmer, Lumpkin, White, Dawson, Cherokee, and Forsyth. And to be selected, you had to be in the top 10 of your instrument. And so tonight, and not all of them are here, but I'm going to go ahead and read all of those who accomplished this feat. Derek Green accomplished this in the bass clarinet. Maddie Schuneman accomplished this in trombone. She's in 10th grade. Riker Pygott in the 11th grade with the alto sax. Soren Jolly, 11th grade with the French horn. Grant Stables, 12th grade with the tuba. Sophia Crawford, 12th grade with the alto sax. Sky Perkins, 12th grade with the bass trombone. And the following students are all state semifinalists. Derek Green, Madeline Schumann, Riker Pygott, Soren Jolly, and Grant Stables. So let's give those a round of applause. Now remember the numbers I just said to you about the 864 and all that. And Blake Colley, raise your hand, Blake, earned first place. Number 1. In the tenor saxophone. And he is also a music composer and finished in the top 10 in state at TSA for music composition. So multiple talents here. So let's give Blake a round of applause. And I have to say this. You just talked about the GMEA. First place. Our band was first place. And 43 out of the 47 years that this has been in existence, our band has received superior rating. So obviously our band rocks each and every year, and we're just thrilled to have these young men and women go out and represent us on the field on Friday night, to represent us in band competitions. They received first place at a national competition in Nashville just a couple weeks back. So they are at the highest level. So let's give our band as a whole. We are very, very, very proud of y'all and the work you put in. It is hard work. They're out there in the heat of the summer. They have band camp. They're working in all hours of the day, all hours of the night, and fine-tuning their craft and becoming the best they can be. So one more round of applause, and y'all sit down and wait for the picture. Daniel and Gracie. There they are. This young lady this is Daniel Hodgins. He is our drama person, and if you haven't been to see Beauty and the Beast, I strongly recommend that you go see that. Shameless plug right there for you. It was this past weekend. It's also happening again this weekend. Again, very talented students. They do a great job. You will love it if you go. But we're here to honor Gracie, who won the region. So she is a region champion in our literary meet, which is also under GHSA. So she is the region champion in literary meet for her argumentative essay, and also finished third in the state. So let's give this young lady I'm so glad we're taking the opportunity to recognize our fine arts, because they put in so much work and they're so talented. And, you know, we talk about state level and district level, but they do so many things at the local level, and they're so successful at the local level as well. So very proud of our fine arts program and the work that our students are putting in, and the work that our faculty are putting in to make these students have the opportunity to be successful and are doing so. So very proud of them. That's all I have. And if Dr. Barnstead asked, I'll tell him I followed this script to a T.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is school governance team update. Now I'd like to invite Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Heather Collis, forward. Thank you. Ms. Collis, could you hold just a minute, I believe? Yes.
Hey, everybody is welcome to stay for the entire board meeting.
Have a good evening. Good job, guys. Good job. Darren, help y'all out. Good job, boys. Good job. That's all right. Good job. Jamming on He's so proud of you.
Good to see you.
He chose it.
Three is Yes.
Congratulations. That's awesome, man.
How are you?
Good. Congratulations. See y'all. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Collis. So I'm gonna go over some governance team updates for the past month of April. You're gonna see a common theme as we go through. These are all things that happen commonly at the end of the year. So for Blue Ridge Elementary School, you can see that they've looked over their dress code, their code of conduct, their handbook. They were discussing their upcoming elections for SGT, and a hot topic, of course, to talk about with everyone would be excited about is audio enhancement. At East Fannin, they also discussed their handbook and code of conduct. They went through their comprehensive needs assessment and their school parent compact, their SGT self-assessment. At West Fannin, they introduced Dr. Barnstead to SGT. They took input on their school improvement plan. They reviewed some of their Title I carryover and SPLOS needs and wants, and they too went over their handbook and code of conduct. At the middle school, they went through map data, and they reminded their SGT members to complete their self-assessment. They reviewed their dress code as well, and they have added a new connections class with help, and so they discussed that with the SGT, and they talked about their SGT elections. And then the high school is very busy. They had a lot of fundraiser requests, field trip requests, facility use requests, and then again, the common theme was going over the school improvement goals, sharing information about SGT elections, and then sharing, of course, that tennis was going to the Sweet 16. And as always, the minutes for each of the SGT meetings are housed in each of the schools. Thank you. Ms. Collins, thank you very much for
bragging on the middle school for a little bit. When I sat down to create my presentation, I started looking back from the last time that I presented, which was in December, and we've had a lot go on since then. And so it's been fun to go through and reminisce to all the things we've done this school year. But I also felt a little bit of pressure that I was going to leave something out and not recognize some of the fantastic things that we have going on. But I'm going to share as much as I can. First, I'd like to recognize our athletic teams for the winter and spring sports. We just saw our baseball team that won our Mountain League championship in the spring. We also had boys soccer and girls soccer, and we had a co-ed golf team. All of those sports did well as well. We're making improvements, and we hope to see those students continue to turn out and show up so that we can continue to improve in those areas. I'm going to brag a little bit more about our band students. Miss Patch, that you met earlier in the meeting, she is our new band director. She is truly amazing. She's energetic. She's been great to get our students involved and recruit new students and bring some students that have been in the band back. And so we're super proud to have her. I want to highlight again the accomplishment of Laurel Minear and Jay Skillis. What they did is really, really hard when you have to sit in front of a panel of judges and audition music that you don't even know and you haven't seen yet. It's really, really hard to do, and it's very nerve-wracking. So what they did is a huge accomplishment as middle schoolers. So I'm super proud of them. Our band earned excellent ratings for their GMEA large group performance evaluation. Again, they prepare music, they sit in front of judges, the judges give them feedback, and excellent ratings are truly an accomplishment. They just had their band concert earlier this week for the spring, and if you saw them in the fall and you heard them in the spring and saw the improvement that they've made over that time, you'd be truly impressed because they did a really, really great job. Earlier in the spring, in the winter, I guess, we had Family Literacy Night. We were able to invite families on campus and celebrate the different things that we have going on in literacy. It was the same time we had our book fair. So we had our book fair there, we had bingo. Families were able to come in and win prizes. Bingo is truly a hit when the families come in. And pretty competitive if you're ever in there witnessing all of the competition going on there. We had some activities in our classrooms, so students were able to participate in literary games and literacy games. We had some junior rebels up in our concession stand that were yelling out free popcorn for all of our participants, and those are some of our staff members, students, our children, and it was fun to see them participate as well. During that same time, we had Miss Amanda Foodie, who is an author, come and visit with our 6th grade students. She actually was one of the featured authors for the Tome Society, which is a Georgia literary society, and she came in and presented to our 6th grade students, and then later in the afternoon, a select group of them were able to go in for a writing workshop, and she talked to them about creative writing and what they could do if they were interested in pursuing a career in writing on their own. We want to celebrate some of our great staff members. You met Ms. Jill Abercrombie earlier in the meeting. She's our Teacher of the Year. We also wanted to recognize Ms. Miranda Stewart, who is our Support Person of the Year. She works in our front office, and we couldn't do anything that we do during the day without her. She keeps us all together. And this is a self-designated award. I designated our nutrition staff the best school nutrition staff. I know that I would probably have competition if I were to put that out there for the other principals, but we are truly proud to have these ladies work on our campus. They do a great job. They have fun. They make it fun to be in the cafeteria, and we're super thankful to have them on our staff. We have investigative research projects that our students participated in. Some of these students actually started several years ago at West Fannin learning how to do investigative research, and they've been able to bring that into what they're doing at the middle school. For those of you who don't know, we have 2 streams that come together in the back of our school campus, and so these students have done some research about how we're restoring the stream, what they're finding about that restoration project, and what we can do to make it better and to make it healthier so we could possibly have trout be there one day and stay there. And so these students, we had several groups that went to our regional science fair. They're all represented in the pictures on the slide. And then the two projects and 3 students in the very center at the bottom, That is Miss Allie Rose Radabaugh, Connor Redding, and Jonah Strobel. Connor and Jonah, they won their category for the state. So at the Georgia Science and Engineering Fair in Athens, they won first place in the state in their category. The unfortunate thing is they were competing against each other because it was all about stream restoration and environmental science. So Allie Rose won third in her category and had to compete against her classmates. And so we're super proud of them. We hope that we can spread out the categories next year so we can win them all, because we know our students can do it. And it's very, very humbling if you ever talk to them about their research, because they are way smarter than I am. Some of the special things that we've had going around campus since December, we have had some celebrations on campus. In December, I got to talk to you a little bit about our champions walks that we do on campus. So we celebrated our sports teams that have won championships. We were able to celebrate our Special Olympics athletes. We've also been able to do some academic celebrations. So our science fair winners, when they came back to campus, we let them do a champions walk. And for those of you who don't know, our champions walk, we invite the whole school out into the hallway, and we play We Are Champions over the intercom. And these students walk up and down the halls with their accolades, so that their classmates and their schoolmates can celebrate the accomplishments that they've made. And so it's been really cool to see. We have athletes that are being celebrated. We have Special Olympics athletes that are being celebrated. We have academics that are being celebrated. And this top 5 growth up here, those students represent students that were able to show the most growth on their math assessment in reading and ELA and math. And so they didn't make the highest score per se, but they showed the most growth from the fall to the winter. And so we allowed them to do their champions walk, led by Miss Abercrombie, who was our teacher of the year. And so we were happy to celebrate them. We also had rewards days. Go back for just a minute, sorry. We had rewards days where students get to use their raffle passes that they earned to do fun things like purchase snow cones and popcorn, and buy some cool school supplies and things like that. One of our teachers, Mrs. Stiles, sponsored a homeless food and clothing drive. She pitted our clubs against one another as a competition, and they were able to raise over 1,400 items to donate to our local homeless shelter. We've had our FCHS dance team and our color guard that we didn't have a picture of that's come down and performed for our connections classes, and also recruited some students to join for the next years coming up as they move into high school. And so that's been cool to see. In our FFA club, they sponsored an FFA week to just really highlight some of the things that happen in FFA and educate the other students who aren't a part of that. And they fed us breakfast as well. So it was really nice to see them be active on campus. Some of the academic things that we have had go on campus, you will see that students have dissected owl pellets, which sounds kind of gross and weird, but it's really cool because students are able to pick out skeletons and things and put them back together that they have, that the owls have eaten and gotten rid of. We have students who have learned about the Van de Graaff machine and physical science, and so they always like to make their hair stand up. We had one little girl whose fringe on her jeans stuck straight out. It was really cool to watch that, watch them learn about that in class. We have students in social studies who have learned about various regions of the world, and they've done some really cool, they've produced some really cool projects to demonstrate what they've learned. We were appreciative of the CLIPS classes that we got, that were donated to us, and we were able to go outside and enjoy that on campus before the students went home that afternoon. And this is special to my math nerdy part, but we've learned about Pi Day and what that means, and students in 7th grade read Surf Circumference and learned what that is and why we have pi and what that means. And I think they got to eat some pie as well, so they enjoyed that. We always want to celebrate our Special Olympics athletes. These students are such a special part of our student body. They are like rock stars on our campus, and if you see those students in the blue shirts, we've also started a Friends Club this year. So we have students who are partnering with this class, and they're playing with them at their break, they're eating lunch with them, and just supporting them to help include them in all of the activities that we have on our campus. And it's been fun to watch them grow in their relationships with one another and just really be inclusive across our campus. Some of the other cool things that we're doing in our connections classes, we had a guest speaker come and talk about turkeys to our ag class. He actually taught them how to use turkey calls. He taught them about the anatomy of a turkey. The students really thought that was cool. Our exploratory class is not only learning about stream restoration, but they're also learning about the hemlocks that we have on campus that are being attacked by a bacteria, algae. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something that's doing harm to those trees, and those trees are very important to the health of our environment. So our students are learning how to treat that and what they can do to help in their own environment if they know that that's happening in their local environment. We've started a weightlifting class for our 7th and 8th grade classes. This last 9 weeks, we've added 6th grade to see how they would do with weightlifting, and it's been really, really great to have those students able to go to the weight room and learn about proper protocol in the weight room, proper form, and what they can do to help themselves get stronger and become better athletes. Our students have learned about CPR in the healthcare science class. We have a whole set of students who have passed the test and become CPR certified, which I think is really cool for middle schoolers. We have students that have just started a new robotics program on our campus. In engineering and in computer science, they learn about robotics, but we've actually formed a team that's going to compete. And I know that our elementary schools have very active robotics teams, so we're hoping to be able to continue that momentum as they come up to middle school. Our engineering class also did an engineering fair where they highlighted some special careers in engineering that they thought were interesting, and were able to produce a product so that we could come through and they could tell us all about what they've learned about those careers and what they might be interested in one day. One of the coolest things that I think we've done across all 4 9 weeks is we had Mr. Eric Youngberg and Miss Christy Gribble come in and teach our computer science classes about entrepreneurship, and they were able to talk about creating a business proposal. And at the end of that, they came in and talked about it, taught the students what that was, and then they came back later and our students got to pitch their Shark Tank proposal. And so students were able to make their pitch. Christy and Eric chose a winner, and they were able to be celebrated. Some of these students even took their proposal a step further, made a product, and were able to sell it at our STEAM festival that happened just a couple weeks ago. So that was really cool as well. One more thing. Oh, sorry. Earlier in the spring, we had a Perkins stakeholders meeting where we got to talk about Perkins funds that we received. Ms. Wynn spoke about that a little bit in our budget meeting just a little bit ago. But we had, from that conversation came the need to really have students invested in some financial literacy, because it was something that's not in our curriculum anymore. And so we had a guest speaker come in and speak to a couple of our classes about financial literacy, and we're hoping that that can be something that's systematically presented to students over the next few years. We had a STEM night a couple of weeks ago. It was held primarily on our nature trail behind the school. Students were able to determine the height of a tree based on the shadow. They were able to determine the age of a tree based on its circumference. It was really, really fun. We had parents that were able to go on our nature trail that had never been there before. And so it was a great way to highlight our resources, but also have some fun activities for our students to participate in. Our Horseshoe Bend project was kind of a culminating project for our 6th grade classes. This whole school year, our 6th graders have learned about stream restoration and how to make the stream healthier, so hopefully one day it can support trout. So they've raised trout in the classroom from eggs. We had a live cam, for those of you who don't know. We had cameras on the eggs, and we could watch them hatch and grow and swim. The students took really great pride in having that happen in their classroom, and then early in March, they were able to release those trout into the stream. Well, Horseshoe Bend and Trout Unlimited contacted our teachers and asked if our students could come help out at Horseshoe Bend. So they took a field trip a couple of weeks ago. They were able to clean up Horseshoe Bend. They were able to plant shrubs and trees to help keep that that environment healthy and safe, and they were able to do a live release of trout into the river. So it was really, really fun, and just a great way to bring it full circle from what they've done all year to the end of the year. We had our 8th grade formal just a week or so ago. Our 8th graders got to come in and dress up and get all fancy and dance and eat and have a good time, and it was a great way to celebrate them and them alone. It was just for them, and it was a fun night. Lastly, I'd like to thank the SPLOS money that we get allocated to our school. We spent a lot of money at the beginning of the year, but we finished it up by being able to paint 2 of our last 2 hallways, main hallways, and we were able to finish our security camera project, so we were super proud of that. And I want to highlight some of our community partners that we've had. Our retired educators always do a lot to celebrate us on campus, and we've had ETC donate food for our staff members. Kaysville Papa's Pizza donated pizza for our club that won and donated the most items to our homeless shelter drive. And I can't go without really bragging about our community resource fair that we had earlier this year, where all of our community came together to really bring resources for our families and help them get what they need to be successful and for their students to be successful. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hodges. Mr. Chair, I would like to just take a minute to say that I'm extremely proud of Dr. Hodges and all the work that she and her team have done this year. They have been rocking out there. Okay, Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Danner, you have public comment, sir?
Yes, ma'am, we've got 3. The first one is Miss Melissa Patton. She wants to teach, so we want to speak on teachable morale.
Okay, and Ms. Patton, did Mr. Danner explain?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
My name is Melissa Patton. I know many of you here, but for those of you who do not know me, or who I do not know, I was raised in Fannin County. I went all through the school system here from, this is gonna tell my age a little bit, but Morganton Elementary to East Fannin Middle School, and then I did graduate from Fannin County High School. I have had 2 daughters recently come through the whole school system and graduate from Fannin County High School, and I currently have a daughter in middle school who will be going to the high school this coming year. Currently, I have many issues in our school system that are leaving me very troubled and also very puzzled. Since my time is limited right now, I'm just going to hit on one topic today, which seems to be pretty important, and a lot of people seem to be talking about it. Now, from what I believe I've heard from at least one school board member, is that teachers are about the happiest they have ever been. Well, I'm not sure which teacher or teachers this may be, because I have been talking to quite a few of them, and for the most part, not one single one of them has expressed to me that they are happy or even the least little bit satisfied with their job at the current time. In fact, if anything, they seem extremely dissatisfied. From what I'm told, they are afraid to voice any opinions that may offend or go against upper admin, as they are afraid of being demoted or fired or just made miserable on their jobs. Yes, you did hear me correctly too, demoted or fired. And I can count several teachers who have recently put in their resignation and will no longer be teaching in our school system. Good teachers, solid teachers, teachers with good values, good morals, good standards. Teachers that students seem to love. I can think of one right off the top of my head who lives in Fannin, went to school in Fannin, has a child in the Fannin County school system, and this teacher is now leaving to go out of the county to teach somewhere else next year. What? Why? What is happening? I know of another teacher who is just fed up with the entire system and is quitting and won't be teaching at all anymore. Again, what? Why? What is happening? Something is going on. Also, I've been told it can be hard to find teachers to coach many of the sports offer, and that some teachers are forced into coaching sports they either know nothing about or have no desire to coach. But then I hear of coaches being dismissed from their coaching positions despite doing well, taking their respective athletes to state, placing. Reasoning? What's the reasoning? Could it be who they're playing or who they're not playing? Or could it be maybe who might want the current job and has the power to pull the right strings to get that job. Again, what, why, what is happening? Instead of ignoring the problem or putting it off, let's do something. Treat the teachers and any other school personnel with respect and dignity. They are, after all, the ones taking care of our most valuable asset in the world, our children. Acknowledge your employees and acknowledge your students and your parents. If anyone sends in a comment, whether good or bad, because I know you get them all, acknowledge them. This happened to me last week. I sent in an email. I've yet to get one response from anybody. Don't ignore people. Don't put off problems. Parents and school personnel know better than anyone the issues that need to be addressed. I'm saddened and I'm disgusted with the way I see things progressing in my community and my school system. The community and the school system that I grew up in, that I work in. I find that I barely recognize people I used to know and the school and the community that played such an integral part of my life. I'm tired. I'm tired of putting up with anyone who will put themselves before a child and who hinders the child's growth and development in any way. It is unacceptable and I won't stand for it. As a local who attended school in Fannin County and a current taxpayer and a parent of a current student, I do greatly appreciate the efforts of those who are looking out for the best interest of the students. There's actually several in this room, I could look around and name a few, that have taught my girls and made a huge impact on them, and they know who they are. So I say thank you for that. After all, the students are the reason the education system is in place, even though it does seem many have forgotten the whole purpose behind an education system. Thank you for your time.
Our second public comment is Mr. Nathan Ferguson. He wants to speak on issues with nutrition and this one as well.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Did Mr. Danner go over?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
I just want to say thank you for this time to speak. Thank you to board members. Thank you, Ms. Dillard. I just want to, there's been a few issues that's come to, be a point of view in my mind. First being, back in the winter, we had some icing, some black ice up on the mountains across 60 down Ascot. Bus drivers got out, nutrition workers got out, kids were on those buses, coming in on black ice. Then we had the issue of the school resource officers that came up. Thankfully, common sense prevailed. We're going to keep our SROs. We need them. I think they're a good resource for our schools, obviously, and it's a good link to these kids. You want them to be with their SROs and get to know these officers and see that not all cops are bad, no matter what the media says. But then we fast forward to this morning, and we completely dropped the ball, completely, because the number one job we have here are these children and this faculty. We have bus drivers. We have kids getting on the bus on the south end of the county at 6 a.m. or just after. That means these bus drivers, these nutrition workers, they're on the road at 5:30 in the morning. We got to call these. I stayed up all night watching the weather, live radar. At midnight last night, I knew I was not going to put my child on the road this morning. No way. But, yourself, maybe members of this board, whoever has the last call, the last decision, put our children on the road, put our buses on the road, buses being stuck, trees in the road, creeks and rivers at capacity, and some out, which I have video of. This is just unacceptable. We got to look after our people in the schools, but most of all, we got to put our children and their safety first. I have 2 children in the Fannin County school system. I was born and raised in the Fannin County school system, graduated from the Fannin County school system. I left here for nearly a decade, and I came back here to put my children into the Fannin County school system. Because I feel like the values in Fannin County are good values. I feel like the people that we put in place are good people. And I expect, you guys as leadership to make the best decision possible for our children, putting them first and their safety, period, end of discussion. So I realize it's a multifaceted role. You can't make everybody happy every single day. I get it, I've been there. But we put our children first, period. And I think, when in doubt, call it out. Call school out. Make sure our children are safe. We seriously got to pass this morning, seriously. Within 12 miles of my house in Gilmer County, there are trees laying all over houses. Everything else West Fannin without power today. What are we thinking? We cannot do this. We have to put our children first. Our faculty get on the road 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We have to think about them. There again, I stayed up all night long. I didn't go to sleep until 5 o'clock this morning. I was up at 7:30. But I'm a self-employed guy. I called my guys last night. I knew by 10 o'clock last night. I said, we're not going to work tomorrow. We're just not going to get out. The weather's just not looking good. The radar from Georgia all the way to the next to Kansas City. And you can see it on the radars coming this way. And that's what I say. When in doubt, holler it out. Let's leave our children number one, and their safety. And I realize, I don't have a background in being a school board member or a superintendent. I don't have that background. But I've got plenty of background in multifaceted roles where, looking over people, making sure the mission is complete and everybody comes home safe. At the end of the day, taking care of my people, which is supposed to be our children. But I'm not here just for my 2 children. I'm here for over 2,000 children in the Fannin County school system. And you guys know we got a pass this morning. We literally got lucky. Nobody got hurt or worse on these roads. But I'm just here to voice that concern. But I thank you guys for your time. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Mr. Davis?
Our last public comment is Ms. Casey Cook. She also will speak on this one as well.
Okay, I want to start by saying I am a mom. I have a 7-year-old at East Fannin. I also have nieces and nephews from 3 all the way up to adulthood from that new school system. I am just curious, who made this call when there was an active tornado watch this morning? You guys expected parents to put their children on a bus during an active tornado watch, when every weather channel says tornado watches are supposed to shelter in place. But instead, somebody thought it was a great idea to send our children out and potentially get them hurt or worse. You guys failed to protect our children today. You put our children's safety last today. And as a school board, you should put our children's safety first. I did not receive the first call until 7:04. I know plenty of people who have to get up and are already heading towards the school at that point. I stayed up until the wee hours of the morning watching the weather, knowing I'm not sending my kid to school in this mess. However, I understand some parents are not able to stay home with their kids all the time when school is canceled and stuff like that. I understand that. Why wasn't it at bare minimum left up to the parents to make the decision? It should have been any absences will be excused. These storm systems, they're saying we can still get more in the morning. Are we going to risk our children's safety in the morning again? Also, we have online learning capabilities. We did it for months with COVID. Why couldn't we have done an e-learning day today just to ensure our children are safe? At the end of the day, play it safe. Do that online learning day, if you want to call it. Us parents are just asking for more transparency about all this. We want our children are safe going to school. I have so many photos. Buses pulled on the side of the road with young kids. in those buses, likely terrified. I know my 7-year-old was at home almost in tears this morning, huddled up next to me on the couch. But you wanted to go strand these young children without someone to even comfort them. I don't understand where the thinking went this morning. It is very clear that nobody here took into account the safety of our children this morning. And it, like he had mentioned, it's nothing new. Y'all did it back in the winter. I slipped down our subdivision going out because there was so much black ice. It's multiple times. You guys, we just have to do better for our kids. That's what all the parents here want. We want better for our kids. And that's all I've got to say on that.
Mr. Dieter, do you want to comment? Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is the facilities update.
Ms. Collins, pulling that up, as of yesterday, 1,755 documented completed work orders. Give a shout out to Tri-State Electric. This was on April 30th. This was at about 8:30 a.m. I think it was. I checked Thomas and Stacy Chastain. I said, hey, I know y'all heard this, but here's where it is. It's right in front of Mineral Springs, and literally within 20 minutes, Tri-State was there. The truck was still going, the wind, the clear got out, the chainsaw running, and took off and started cutting. So again, they had the power back on at the high school, literally in no time. So again, a great shout out to Tri-State. And then also to that, I know they were, West was out, they come back on today at 12:10. That was it. It was great. Appreciate all the work at Tri-State. This was on April 25th. This was our meeting with our engineers, Henry Pineda, Boyd and Watson had 3 members there, Ms. Miller, Mr. Douglas Galloway, Mr. Sperling, and we had our electrical engineer, our plumbing engineer, our HVAC engineer, civil engineer, and structural engineer, myself. Again, one of the plans there that's going over behind the high school. And go ahead, Ms. Collins. There was also a meeting on May the 2nd with the civil engineer in the city of Blue Ridge regarding the water and sewer connection. Show you a picture of that in just a moment. Henry called me today, and we are on home. The goal was to have the drawings be ready to send to Boyd and Watson by the 15th. And that goal will be met. So next Wednesday, they will be submitted to Boyd and Watson for them to advertise. They have to advertise for 28 days. And then the bid opening will be the week of the board meeting, the June board meeting. They'll have to compile everything on there. So hopefully we will request a call board meeting the week of June the 19th and the 21st to approve the GMP and guarantee max price levels. So again, that's baseball, softball, tennis, our athletic complex, our athletic annex there coming off of the old gym, and then just north of the new tennis courts. Again, that's where our future CPA building will be coming. Everything is moving very quick. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Miller. And then March the 15th, I think Blue Ridge and East got to hire their custodians. That is the first time we have been fully staffed with our custodians in over 2 years, 2 volunteers. And then on April the 12th, we actually got to hire another gentleman, we call him a floater. So we got 1 additional custodian that's on staff now. He's been at West for a week, he's been at Ridge for a week, is at East this week, he'll be at middle school next week, and he'll be at the high school the week of graduation, and then we will assign him at different locations, depends on what projects they got going on. So again, we're just so happy that we have, number 1, applicants for custodial positions that we are full staff.
That is exciting.
I got a couple of questions. You said that we had open bids on that June board meeting?
No, sir, the open bids, The open bids will be at Bowen and Watson's office. It will be open to the public, just like we would have a bid open. We can, typically they do that at their office there in Tacoma.
Just a question.
Yes, sir.
Some public asked that we can have that moving under here at the SDC. So if that's possible, if you don't care, that's Golden Watson.
I'll be glad to. I'll be glad to. I'll make something like that phone call in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. Damer. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve the community eligibility provision, and I'd like to invite Director of Nutrition and Wellness, Ms. Martha Williams, forward, please. Ms. Williams, this is very exciting, and before you get started, I want to say thank you for all the work that you and your team have put into this to make this happen.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. It has been a lot of work, but boy, is it an exciting endeavor. So what is CEP? CEP is for me very, very exciting. And tonight, everyone who's here and everyone listening online, there's a lot of things when we all watch the news that we see and we hear and we're not sure. And I have invested such amount of time. I'm going to do my best as my teacher that I still am in my heart to try to tell you what CEP really is. So it stands for Community Eligibility Provision. It's a USDA called a meal service option. And it is for LEAs, which is what we are here. We're called the Local Education Authority. We get to decide who wants to participate in this. So qualifying districts have breakfast and lunch at no cost for all enrolled students. I would like everyone to notice the words "at no cost." It is not free. And so that's not what this is. It does have a cost. I will not be receiving free food. There is a debt cost to feed our children. And CEP does not actually cover that per se. The Fannin students here, we actually, because of you and your provision, have been able to serve our students breakfast for free for years. And again, it's been free for our students at no cost because you all pay me for that bill. Other districts have never done that. And so we've always had a very large blessing of taking care of our kids, at least on the breakfast portion of it. Next year, if we do this, there's no household applications for free and reduced lunch, which is awesome. No one has to fill that out at the beginning of the year. And it is a 4-year cycle that determines the eligibility. So if we do this tonight and you all approve it, it is good for 4 years. So how do you qualify? And this is the word that is a little bit of a misunderstanding. USDA annual notification and publication was released actually in February. This is not new news. It utilizes data from the FRL 001, which is turned in every year in October. It both uses our free and reduced data, and it also uses FTE that's gathered by our systems information systems. You must have 25% of your students that are directly certified free to be eligible to have CEP. So what does that mean? To be DC, you either are receiving SNAP, which is a Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, TANF, which is a temporary assistance for needy families, or you receive Medicaid free, or you may be categorically eligible as free because you are a foster student, you are homeless, you are a runaway, or you are a migrant. In SY 2024, only 55% of Georgia's LEAs qualified and participated in CEP. We did not qualify for CEP in SY 2024. Fannin has pursued this, y'all, for decades. My predecessor worked tireless hours trying to make this an opportunity, but it didn't work. So why? We had a rule change. In fact, there were 2 rule changes. The first one is that Georgia began allowing Medicaid to be used for direct certification this year. Until now, we've never had that. And if you were on Medicaid, you still had to complete a free and reduced lunch application. So now we get into the Code of Federal Regulations. So 7 CFR 245.9F was amended, and it became effective last October on the 26th, and it changed the minimum identified student percentage, or the ISP, for DC students from 40% down to 25%. So this means that now 94% of Georgia LEAs qualify for CEP in 2025. This significant increase in eligibility is directly related to the changes in how we identify DC students through Medicaid and the change in rule. It's both things. So CEP requires that LEAs must pay with non-federal funds, local taxpayer money, any cost of offering free meals to all students that exceeds the federal assistance provided under 7 CFR 245.9F, subsection 4, 7. So we did not want to enter into this agreement with the USDA without coming to you, and we desire to be fiscally responsible. I spend a large portion of my time at a desk crunching numbers, trying to be fiscally responsible. I don't want to make money in nutrition, but I need to be able to pay for the employees and the food and the service. So what is the actual timeline of how CEP works? Because this will be true not only this year, but also in 4 years, so it's relevant to know what's coming. We have evaluated CEP since August. Since August of 2023, I've been in my office going through all of our students, trying to figure out, can we make it work? On April the 1st, that is the date that I'm actually allowed and must pull data for CEP determination. On April the 8th, I submitted it to all of our data to the state. And on the 17th, I had confirmation from the state that I have completed our preliminary investigation and that my numbers were accurate and correct. Today, I'm still waiting on my second party verification, so that piece is still outstanding. On June 30th is when actually a district is supposed to apply for CEP. June 30th is when districts have to tell them. And June 30th has typically been when most people did that, because it doesn't become effective until July 1st. So in SY 2024 and 2028 through 2028, we have the opportunity to implement CEP here in Fannin. But in 2028, we will have to evaluate it again for pricing and non-pricing bill service. Excuse me. So how do we do this? What is this all about in our data? I think our community sometimes may or may not know really all the folks who are in our school system. When I was part of Leadership Fannin, I met so many amazing people, but they predominantly were not from our area of the woods, and they don't normally get out and come into our schools, and so it was a great opportunity for them to see actually the local kids. In our local population, 1,638 out of 2,833 students are DC free, y'all. 57.82% of our students receive benefits for free meals. For every 10 students that are DC free, the USDA says that there are 6 more that would have qualified if they did a free and reduced lunch application. And so there is something called a multiplier, which is also determined by the federal government, and that is where the 1.6 multiplier comes from. So with that multiplier, our student population sits at 92.51% free claiming percentage. Y'all, that's so incredibly high. With board approval, we will encourage our families to utilize CEP, including those that bring their lunch. So maybe your child likes to bring their lunch. There's no problem with that. Maybe they want to have another lunch with it. Let us provide it. Grab your milk, your yogurt, your other things to go on. Your fresh vegetables. They're expensive, y'all. Y'all know that. We are going to offer more fresh offerings. We're doing a salad bar at the middle school and high school that started last week. We have already implemented our menu for next year, this year, so we all get into a routine and can try it out. I have been participating with a local Foods for School funds for this year. It's a new product of USDA. And so I've been able to bring in fruit, vegetable, and meat that has been grown within 400 miles of Georgia, our location in Georgia. And I will continue to work with our schools with Farm to School. I'm very active with them. You all know I'm a farm girl. And we will continue to work with our school gardens and our partnerships with our local farmers. And we are still going to work with our kids with composting our extra things to help go feed our chickens, and to try to show them how to use vermicomposting and other things that benefit their environment. So many things that we do in our department help support the things that are going on throughout the whole school, as it should be. And so, reimbursable meal can be nutritious, it can be convenient, and it can be free of charge to our fellow students for the next 4 years. But I wanted to make sure everyone knew why it is such a big deal. It's not simple, y'all. It's hours and hours and hours of time of reading. But I'm thrilled. I'm excited. These are our people. What could be better? Do you have questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Is a parent unwilling to apply for these steps? What are the issues still?
Well, currently, a lot of our families are very, very proud people, and they don't apply for benefits. And that is why our number of free and reduced on our FRL 001 doesn't correlate with the number 92.51. We are very proud people in our community, and we take care of our families, and we do the best we can. We often don't have a handout. But CEP doesn't require a parent to do anything. With your board approval, you all are saying, we're going to back you up, Ms. Williams. If for some reason your food budget bill is higher than what you bring in for a reimbursement, we're going to cover it. We're going to find local funds to do it. That's what we're saying. And we're going to make sure that we take care of our kids. And I think, crunching the numbers based on my reimbursement, it will be tight. And with our budget, it will be tight. But my goodness, what a joy it was for me to work on that budget and do something good for my girls and my gentlemen at East Fannin and all of my schools. It was a joy to think that I might be able to do that for them.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
So just to clarify that, we got skin in the game still.
You absolutely have skin in the game.
We're still putting money.
And our community has skin in the game because that's local taxpayer funds.
Exactly.
Great questions from y'all. Anything else? I know it's a lot of information, and y'all know I'm a nerd, but if anyone has questions, I had someone call me today. It's the first time when anyone has ever called me and asked me a question. Call me. I'm available. I will help you understand it as best I can. We're in this together. We are family. This is my home. These are my people.
I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your efforts. Your passion for our students is right there in front of all of us, and we love you for that. I will tell you that I had the opportunity to sit across the table from Senator Warnock and Senator Alsop and Representative Biden in Washington. And I discussed these very issues with them, including our difficulty securing bids for actual food service. And we talked about grant money for regional processing facilities that will hopefully in the future bring that food source closer to us and reduce the transportation costs. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Mr. Chair, with that said, I'd like to make a recommendation to pursue the application to participate in the community eligibility provision program.
Board, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you all so incredibly much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next item on the agenda is to approve the local facilities plan renewal. Mr. Danner?
Board, we are in year number 4 of our local facilities plan. The local facilities plan is through the Department of Education for us to pursue TOPS money, capital outlay project money. Again, we're in year number 4. This is just a resolution that the DOE requires if we want to continue to request funds for the DOE for modifications, renovations, that sort of thing. So again, this is just permission. It says requesting assistance of the Georgia Department of Education facility sections in the development of a new 5-year plan. So once, if this is approved, Mr. Doug Simmons is my local state representative. I'll call him. We'll schedule that over the next 8 to 12 months. And again, this will just keep us, in the process of being able to use that COPS money in future projects and for markets. We've actually got two applications in now, the east and west Fannin HVAC modifications in the high school and gym modifications. And then Martha, what school is that at? West Fannin, dishwasher. So we got two applications.
Mr. Chair, that said, I make a recommendation to approve this presented.
Okay, board, we have a recommendation. Is there a motion?
So have the motion.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raising hand. It is unanimous.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is to approve the FY 2024 budget amendment. Ms. Wynn?
Good evening again, board, Madam Superintendent. So this is our first amendment this year for our general fund. We have to follow revenues by program and expenditures by function. And then we have our amendment for our special revenues, and they're all by funds for revenues and expenditures. And then we will have a final amendment after the end of the year.
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve this presented.
Do I have, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion goes for a second. Second. Any discussion? All in favor by raising hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve district financial report. Ms. Wynn?
So we have our financial report for March the 31st. We're 75% complete for this fiscal year. That's our general fund. You can see encumbrance was $110,000 with funding $179. And then we have our capital projects and our special revenues and our school nutrition. And then next month, when you see these reports, the general fund budget will be updated to the one that was approved tonight as well as the special revenues.
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand. It is unanimous.
Next item on the agenda is to approve the school quarterly financial reports. Ms. Wynn?
So these are our financial reports for our schools from July the 1st through March the 31st. We have Blue Ridge, Elementary. And then we have East Fannin Elementary. It shows their general funds on their flags. We have West Fannin Elementary. Any contracts that they have, we have everything incorporated out. And then we have the middle school. And the high school, it has all the receipts and disbursements from July through June, through March. And we have the TAE. And that is all of the schools' quarterly financials.
Thank you, Ms. Wynn. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Is there a motion to accept the recommendation?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is SPOS update. Ms. Wynn?
So we have our SPOS update. We received $131,008.44 in April for all the sales that took place during the month of March. And so we have still on track to finish this SPOS in September 2024. And so that is what we will 0.6% increase from the prior year.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Next item on the agenda, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a recommendation of executive session for personnel, student information, and attorney's client.
I have a recommendation for executive session. Do I have a motion?
So So, you
Motion, is there a second?
have a second.
I have a second, is it? All in favor by raising? It is unanimous.
like to, first list on personnel is resignation, and I would like to take these collectively unless someone has an objection. This first set is all effective 5/29/2024, and that's Lakin Boyd, Katie Clay, Tashina Eller, Caitlin Fitz, Gretchen Gordon, Samantha Goswick, Wade Hodges, Kelly Holtzman, Mariah Richardson, and Amanda Thomas. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
You have a second.
All in favor by raising hand. It is unanimous.
Thank you, sir. Next resignation is Anthony Scott Back, effective 5/31/2024. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Raise hand to approve. Motion passes. All.
Thank you, sir. Next resignation is Brian Richardson, effective 6/12/2024. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Give me a second.
You have a second.
Thank you, sir. All in favor by raise hand. It is unanimous.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the next, group is all recommendations pending completion of paperwork, background check, and training requirements. These are all professional staff, all effective for the school year 2024-2025, and I'd like to take these collectively if no one objects. Okay? First is Megan Albertson, Geneva Cook, Grant Davis, Reagan Day, Jennifer Dudley, Jenna Fairchild, Joel Gibson, Brandy Parker, Dawson King, Julia Klein, David Linder, Alyssa Parks, Ryan Pierce, and Catherine Thomas, Matthew Ware. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
I have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a
Second.
second? Got a second. All in favor by raised hand. It is unanimous.
Thank you. I'd like to take the next set collectively unless there's an objection. Okay, all these are classified, all for the school year 2024-2025. That is Lynette Hall, Deborah Harnett, and Julia McDaniel. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
A recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
You have a second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand. It is unanimous.
Thank you, sir. The next is recommendations for substitute employees, and this is pending completion of paperwork, background check, and training requirements. And that is Lynette Hall for substitute school nutrition, effective 5/13/2024. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll make the second. All in favor by raised hand. It is unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This next set does not, require a recommendation or board action because you all have already approved them previously, but it's for, transfers for informational purposes only. And these are all effective for the school year 2024-2025, and that would be a transfer of Tori Art, Amanda McBride, Brandy Smiley, Alicia Stiles, and Shannon York. So, with that said, Mr. Chair, that completes our personnel for this meeting. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is superintendent comments. This week is We Are Fannin Week. It was decided that we would celebrate everyone at one time this year because dividing different groups of people just kept focusing on the differences. When we're all here for one thing, and that is to educate our children. I know that sometimes that decisions are made, and not everyone agrees, and sometimes they're not the best decisions, but I can promise you they're always made with the best intent and with the most information that you have at the time. I'd like to say that I appreciate every person that puts on the name tag for Fannin County in the school system, and you are appreciated every day. I would also like to say that it's ultimately my responsibility to make the decisions for this school system. I have the support of the board through their support in making a policy and a budget. But ultimately, the decisions fall on me, and I take responsibility for that. I'd like to say that we've had a great month. Prom was a great success. Dr. Ramsey, I got to see you dressed up as a ringmaster in a photo, and I heard a lot of stories from your students, but I think everybody had a lot of fun. And Ms. Collis, I believe you got blisters on your fingers, tying animal balloons. We'll have graduation before our next board meeting, and that will be a celebration for the culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of people. I'd also like to recognize Brady Smith for being selected as the state winner for the most positive adapted sports athlete by the Positive Athletic Organization. That is wonderful. I love it when our kids are recognized for their achievements, and definitely when they're recognized for their heart and their character. I appreciate all the special recognitions tonight. We had a bus rodeo. Mr. Drury, your first bus rodeo. We had Julie Johnson come in third, Tim Rosario second, and then Junior Dillinger is holding steady at number one. So, a big shout out to Matt Price. Matt Price is actually accepted to the State Special Education Academy. It is a class, a program that he'll go through to learn more about doing programs for special education, and he was 1 out of 40 people in the state of Georgia that was selected. There was only 40 seats, and his application, the letters that he wrote, he was accepted. Very proud of you, Matt, and proud of the work that you do every day with your students. So, Dr. Hodges, again, thank you for your presentations. And Dr. Ruth couldn't be with us tonight because he's actually at the track meet, their state championship track meet that will take place between today and Saturday. So throw up some prayers there for those kids. I know they're excited. I know Dr. Ruth was. He about warming out before they got to leave. So we are Fannin, and we are blessed.
Mr. Galloway.
I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up tonight, especially those who listen. We do love each and every one of you, and we do appreciate all that y'all do for us. And say how good it was to see all of our students and accomplishments. Oftentimes we just recognize the ones that we see on Friday night, or we see in the gymnasium or something. It was so good to see some of them on the other side. How wonderful our students are. So well-rounded in every aspect that you look at. Anything we offer at our school systems, we always have incredible athletes and students, and they do an amazing job. I'm always amazed at their accomplishments. I want to congratulate our teachers every year. I know most of them in the homes. That's okay. It is an honor for them to be a part of that. I look forward. I think it's May 14th. We're doing that again, so I look forward to that. Said the same thing that we still did about our track team. I'm very excited. I know we're going to another one sitting here in August with us. It's excited about it. His son's down there too. Very, very excited. My own daughter's down there. Believing that tomorrow we're down there as well. So I didn't get the fortunate thing of Mr. Root. I figured I better be here than to miss board meeting. So I also want to thank one more real special person to me tonight. Maybe after to come out and be a part of this. I thank my own daughter for being here and being part of this with us. So thank you for that. God bless you and good luck.
Mr. Lewis.
I want to thank those that came on the public comment this evening and made their comments and trying to inform us on their opinions. I've listened, and the laws in my court now. I know it's not an easy thing to come before a place like this for you. You're sort of a stranger, but we appreciate it. It hurts, but that's the beginning of change, I guess. So I do appreciate it and commend y'all for being courageous enough to do it.
Mr. Brandon?
Thank you, for everyone who attended tonight. Thank you, Dr. Hodges, for the exciting news from the middle school. Thank you, Ms. Williams, for all the work to provide nutrition for our students. Thank you, Ms. Williams, for all the comments we were. As always, it's exceptional. Congratulations to our teachers of the year and to all of our student champions that shared their success with us tonight. As always, it's an honor to serve. Thank you.
My turn. I'd like to say congratulations to the middle school baseball. Let me tell you something that happened to me when baseball started at the middle school. I was umpiring, and I got the call. The game was at Gilbert County, and I got the call the first game that they played. That was an honor to me. The first game that the middle school played baseball, I got the call that. I didn't get the call behind the plate. I got the call the bases, because I was a board member. And if they'd know that, they probably threw me out anyway. Congratulations to the teachers of the year, and I look forward to being there when the one is chosen. But in my book, all of our teachers are number one. Miss Martha, I tell you what, I just can't say enough about you. I just can't. And I'll tell you something. The day that Fannin County won't feed our children, we're in bad shape. And I am so thankful that we've always had breakfast, and I'm double thankful that we can feed them breakfast and lunch. Principals, glad you're here. Glad everybody's here and listening. Let me say this, and I'm not trying to talk out. If there's something you mentioned about teachers talking to us, I'll give you my phone number if you want to give it to people. I wish teachers would talk to them. But it seems like every time you get around a teacher, they're afraid, you know. Like I said, I ain't gonna fire you. Ain't nobody up here gonna fire you. But I would like to know what you think. And let me say this about our decision this morning. I've been on this board over 20 years. That is not a bad call that's been made. There have been several calls that's like this from the time I've been on the school board. But I will tell you this, and I don't want to open up a can of worms or anything like that, to say that anybody up here, of us six, don't love children. That's the misquote. That is why I'm here. That's why these other guys and Miss Dillard is here. I am for the kids. I don't have an agenda. It's children. It's my agenda. And I just want you to know that. Ain't no other reason. Children is my agenda. Thank you for being here.
I'm excited that Miss Christie stayed with us the whole time. When everybody else walked out, you got my vote. I don't have a vote, but you got my vote. And the girl sitting right beside her, Miss Martha, you're smart, you're special, you're kind. You did a great job, and I thank you so much for your explanation, because there's a lot of misnomers out there, and I thank you for clarifying that. Dr. Hodges, what a great presentation. I see the excitement, in your, display there when you're talking about the people that's good to see, and I'm excited for what's going on over at the middle school. And, your vision, I see it without you even talking to me. I see it because you put that out. When I talk to you, not so much in this is my vision, but you talk to me. So I like that. I like what you're doing over there. It's a great job. I'm happy with all our principals and, Officer Tony. I cannot, skip out. Thank you for your service. Thank you, teachers, for your service. Because it is a service, and I appreciate you all for that. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion is second. First and second, all in favor? It is unanimous.